This happens to me all the time. Anytime I like someone who's a little off the radar, a little off the beaten path, I get to enjoy that hit for like 1 week. And then either they fail and people get mad at me, or they succeed, and then I tell everybody to sell them, and then people get mad at me. I'm not a very good at holding all the way to the top, except for one player. Let's get into it. I was going to talk about Kyren Williams, the guy who I think is going to fall off.
Sure.
Do you care talking about Kyren Williams?
No, he's going to fall off. So
okay, yeah, I'll just say it really briefly. I think that Kyren Williams has now had like 2 really great fantasy weeks, which is week 2 and week 4. And he's had the distinct pleasure of ranking dead last in rush yards over expectation in both of those weeks that he's seen this really high rushing volume. This is just the kind of thing that happens when you take a player with non-NFL quality athleticism and non-NFL quality size and you force 25 carries on them. Like, it's going to be a disaster for real life, obviously not for fantasy. Like, if you give anyone 25 carries and 5 targets in a game, like over and over again, it will provide fantasy value. This is like one of the least tenable running back workhorses I can ever recall. I don't know. It honestly might last through the season. Like, that's totally possible. It's not like there's anyone else here obvious. Like, I still think Zach Evans is good, but the Rams obviously don't. They don't even want to make him active. So, like, if your counter to this, it's like, yeah, I get it. Kyren Williams sucks, but so does Ronnie Rivers and Evans or whatever. They trust him in pass pro. They don't care if he can run or they think he can run. Sure. I think that, look, if all you're getting offered is like second round picks, fuck it. Like, just enjoy the fun for as long as it lasts. And if it dies, it dies. If you can ever like combine him and not much else and get into first round pick range, like of all of the Elijah Mitchells and Michael Carters and Tyler Algiers and Myles Gaskins and James Robinsons, this strikes me as like by a mile the least likely to have any legs into the following year. And I still would be like quite surprised if we reach the fantasy playoffs and he's a top 10 running back. Like, I still think at some point in time, either someone else getting a shot, or they're making a trade, or they're signing a dude, or he's just going to get hurt. Like, I just think this is like pretty absurd what's happening. And I just don't think he's like capable of doing this at a high level.
Yeah, it's really funny that you basically nailed the Devon Singletary corollary, if you will. You can be slow. You can be small. You can be small and slow. So
we'll see, man. So far, he's just shoving it down our throats. But it's like he's basically doing like 2021 Leonard Fournette impersonation, but as a 195-pound guy. Like, he's doing the I catch passes, I play every snap, and I suck. But he's doing it as like a small dude, and I just feel like that's probably less likely to continue. I don't know.
Yeah, and a small dude that wasn't drafted 4th overall.
Right.
Like, yeah. So the interesting thing about this is, like, you know, like you said, like, we have Ronnie Rivers and we have what's his name? Evans.
Yeah.
What's his first name?
Zach
Evans. And who knows who they have in the practice squad? I have no idea. And people always have this like thing where they're like, especially these guys, these kind of guys, where they just like come out of nowhere and now they have the job and they're like, well, I couldn't possibly foresee any other circumstance in which this player gets replaced because everyone else is so irrelevant. Failing to, of course, realize the player in question was that guy last week. I mean, this was 4 weeks ago, but like Kyren Williams was irrelevant 4 weeks ago. And now he has a starting job for 4 weeks. It's only a matter of time before the next irrelevant guy pops up. Or he's just, you know, starts playing really bad, even worse than he already is. And we're not getting the points. They stop letting him run every route and take every carry and so on and so forth. Like, these day 3 players that pop up time and time again are flash in the pans. The true like staying power is quite rare. Sure, you have your odd Aaron Jones. You know, you got that.
But Aaron Jones never was like struggling in efficiency.
No,
Aaron Jones came on
excellent from the day he stepped on the field.
Like right? Like, there's a big difference. Like, sometimes you get these guys and you look at an Aaron Jones and you're like, I don't know if I trust it because he, is small and he's day 3, whatever else. But you're like, man, the guy's good, right? Like, but with Kyren, I'm like, oh, he's like scoring a lot of fantasy points. Oh, he still sucks though. It's different. Like, it's not like an Aaron Jones taking the world by fire. To me, the most similar guy is Myles Gaskin as a non-rookie.
Yeah,
was not particularly efficient, undersized, but did see a ton of work in college. Like, I'll give Kyren that. He saw a lot of work at Notre Dame. And obviously, Gaskin, it kind of worked for the whole year. He got hurt. He did come back. He regained his role. And then the really crazy thing with Gaskin is then they didn't actually draft anyone to replace him the next year. So everybody's like, oh, we're going to get another year of this. And then we did it. And they were just like, we didn't draft anyone to replace him, and we're still not really using you much. I can't even remember who they used.
No one. Like, they just used everyone. Like, it was nothing. Like, we
Phillip
didn't have
Lindsay, I think,
running
got
back
some run
in Miami. What's that?
Like, Phillip Lindsay, I think, got some run.
I don't know.
Who else was on that team?
Salvin Ahmed was not dude on there, or Ahmed, or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
And wasn't there one of them? Who's that guy that the comedian guy always? Patrick Laird. Is that his name?
Patrick Laird. Yeah, Patrick Laird. That was a big one.
But yeah,
so it's like weird.
That's an excellent example of exactly what I'm talking about. Who's going to replace this guy? Nobody could possibly do it. Oh, literally, guys you've never heard of. Replace the guy that you've never heard of. Like, it just isn't a stretch for me.
Malcolm Brown got some usage.
Yeah. The next guy is probably also going to be somebody you did not expect. The unpredictable is predictable in this case. Not that we know who it is, but that we know that it's coming to an end at some point. And it's probably coming to an end sooner than you want to believe it is. And there's like, he's scoring points right now. Even if he keeps the job rest of the season, he's probably not going to keep scoring points at this rate. So his value is going to keep going down as he starts losing work. Then you have to survive an off season, which is like the most terrifying thing you can do as a day 3 running back bag holder. Because they never, like, saying never is incorrect. It's like you don't say
not never, but it's usually
definitive things like that when you're arguing with your spouse, for instance, or giving fantasy football takes. But it's extremely rare that these guys hold their job for multiple years. Like, if they get through the first year, you just thank your lucky stars. You take the points to the bank and you cash out at that point. That's the James Robinson thing, right? Like, I did a video on James Robinson showing, like, hey, this is every rookie that was awesome. And then look at none of them actually mattered ever again. Like, they had their day in the sun. One guy had another top 12 season, and the rest of the list completely disappeared within a year. So Kyren Williams is not here for the long run. It may end this season. It may end next season. It doesn't really matter. He's very valuable right now comparatively to what he was, and I'm just not sure it's going to go up very much because he's not that good. So get out while you still can.